this timeline is crazy, man.
I know. So many things coming at one time.
Not do this alone. Do you foresee that there could be other charges related to this case?
I'm not taking anything off the table.
No one wants him mentioned.
What's up, everyone? Buckle up, because this story is a wild ride. Imagine a courtroom packed with tension, tears flowing, emotions running high. And at the center of it all are none other than the daughters of music mogul Diddy Combs. That's right, Diddy's daughters, D'Lila, Chance, and Jessie, are reportedly reaching their breaking point, and the drama is spilling into the public eye. But what's really happening behind the scenes? Why are these young women allegedly considering filing for emancipation? And how does this connect to the lingering mystery surrounding their mother, Kim Porter? Let's break it all down.
Today, just to tell the truth, so hopefully we can get down to the bottom of this. I'm 100%, the charges against me are 100% false, and hopefully due to time, we'll start to see that.
Here's the deal. Diddy's daughters, who have long been seen as the more private and reserved members of his family, are now making headlines like never before. For years, they stood by their father's side, attending glamorous events and sharing heartfelt family moments on social media. But now, sources claim the trio is ready to break away and forge their own path. And honestly, who could blame them? With Diddy's name constantly entangled in controversy, it's no surprise they might want to distance themselves. But here's the real twist. It's not just about the legal battles or the media frenzy. There's something far more profound at play: the unresolved questions surrounding Kim Porter's passing and the reportedly toxic family dynamics that followed.
Well, Kim Porter, that is Diddy's ex, who's also the mother of his 3 of his children,
Right.
has detailed the alleged abuse that she suffered at his hands.
Oh, no.
And this is all in a memoir.
Kim Porter, Diddy's ex and the mother of 3 of his children, allegedly detailed the abuse she endured in a memoir. Now, let's rewind to 2018, the year Kim tragically passed away. Official reports stated she succumbed to pneumonia, but whispers of foul play have lingered ever since. And now, those whispers are turning into full-blown allegations. According to leaked details from her autopsy report, Kim was reportedly in good health just days before her sudden passing. So how did things take such a drastic turn? That's the question on everyone's mind. Adding to the suspicion are claims that a casket was allegedly ordered for Kim a full week before her death. Seriously, who does that? It's details like these that have both conspiracy theorists and insiders demanding a deeper investigation. But it gets even murkier. At the time of Kim's passing, her personal belongings, her laptop, phone, and other electronics had mysteriously vanished. You'd think someone with her resources and connections would have had those items close, right? Yet, they were nowhere to be found. And then there's the condition of her body, as described in the autopsy report. While no official foul play was suspected, certain unsettling details, such as skin discoloration and unexplained contusions, have raised more questions than answers. So now, people are asking, was this really a natural passing, or is there something much darker lurking beneath the surface?
And it's like, it was the same thing Kim was going through. The same thing, bro. Kim was going through the same thing. The beatings, you know what I'm saying?
Now, imagine being one of Kim Porter's daughters and growing up surrounded by these haunting whispers. Even if you don't know what to believe, the constant chatter about your mother's life and mysterious passing would take an emotional toll. And it doesn't stop there. Beyond the lingering questions about Kim's death, there are the disturbing allegations against Diddy himself. Claims of controlling behavior, emotional manipulation, and even physical mistreatment. The glamorous, picture-perfect family image often portrayed in the media seems to be just that, an image. Allegedly, Diddy's treatment of Kim during their relationship was so turbulent that it left lasting scars on their children, who witnessed it all firsthand. One insider even claimed that Kim once confided in friends, expressing fear that Diddy might harm her. If that's true, it's no surprise that her daughters are now reportedly seeking distance, trying to break free from a past that's weighed on them for far too long.
Do I think, yeah. Every man possibly is capable. I think he's very capable of doing it. It's in his character. That's who he is. That's what comes with power. That's what comes with arrogance. That's what comes with, what makes him, power. That's just
selfishness would make you be like that.
But here's the twist. This isn't just about the past. It's about what's happening right now. Following Diddy's arrest and ongoing legal troubles, the dynamics within his family seem to have shifted dramatically. Initially, his children appeared to stand by him, showing support both in court and on social media. But in recent months, that united front has crumbled. During Diddy's most recent court appearance, only his sons, Justin and Christian, were present. His daughters were noticeably absent. And while the family once flooded social media with coordinated birthday messages and public displays of love, insiders now claim those moments were staged, carefully scripted attempts to gain sympathy for Diddy. If that's true, it's a heartbreaking revelation.
So yesterday, Monday, Diddy celebrated his 55th birthday, but this year was a lot different. It was no Diddy parties. It was none of that. None of that stuff. Well, happily, so I guess right now. But anyway, so this is his first birthday behind bars.
For Diddy's daughters, this very public unraveling of their family appears to be the breaking point. Rumors suggest they've been meeting with attorneys to explore the legal steps needed to emancipate themselves from their father's control. And honestly, who could blame them? Imagine being a teenager or young adult and watching your family's darkest secrets plastered across the news. Sources close to the family say the daughters are deeply hurt, not just by the allegations against their father, but also by the way their family has been handled in the aftermath of Kim's passing. The pain runs deeper than the headlines, and for them, breaking away might be the only way to find peace.
Yeah, but so there's still, I mean, it's crazy too because there's still more happening in court. Like, I mean, everything is still active even though we're not hearing about it as much anymore, and the people may be fatigued like we talked about prior to.
And speaking of Kim, let's take a moment to talk about her legacy. Kim Porter was known as a loving, dedicated mother who always put her children first. Those closest to her have described her as kind, warm, and incredibly resilient. Someone who always tried to see the best in people, even in the toughest times. Yet, her relationship with Diddy was anything but smooth. Insiders paint a picture of a relationship filled with emotional highs and devastating lows. Allegedly, Diddy's controlling behavior often left Kim feeling trapped, and she confided in friends that their arguments could escalate to the point of physical altercations. One particularly shocking claim comes from someone who worked closely with the couple, recalling a night when an argument spiraled into a full-blown fight, with objects being hurled across the room. The insider described Kim as someone who stood her ground despite the chaos, but it's clear that these moments left a lasting impact on her and, ultimately, on her children.
Because Kim had took the cork, you know where you open up wine? The corkscrew. She took the corkscrew and caught him on his wrist defending himself. And he almost, I think he hit, I know he tore some ligament, but he almost hit an artery or came close to the artery or either scratched it or cut it a little bit because he just kept bleeding.
Fast forward to today, and Kim Porter's name is once again making headlines, this time in connection with a leaked memoir that allegedly reveals explosive details about her life with Diddy. While the book's authenticity is hotly debated, it's reportedly packed with claims of mistreatment, manipulation, and even fears for her safety. Diddy's legal team has, of course, dismissed the book as a sham, but that hasn't stopped it from becoming a bestseller and reigniting discussions about Kim's life and untimely passing. And here's the twist. Kim's own children, including Diddy's daughters, have publicly denied the memoir's authenticity, calling it a hurtful fabrication. Yet, some fans and conspiracy theorists aren't convinced. They point to the book's timing and its eerie alignment with other recent allegations against Diddy, leaving many to wonder, is there more to the story than meets the eye?
You know, he get trafficking because he took her to different states and had her perform acts with different, you know, male and different people, sometimes against her will.
It's hard not to feel for Diddy's daughters in all of this. They've been thrust into the spotlight in a way no one could have prepared them for. On one hand, they are still grappling with the loss of their mother and the lingering questions surrounding her passing. On the other, they are watching their father face some of the most serious allegations imaginable. And through it all, they are trying to figure out who they are and what they stand for. If the rumors about their emancipation plans are true, it could mark a major turning point, not just for them, but for the entire Combs family. But here's the thing. the story doesn't end with Diddy's daughters allegedly walking away. In fact, it only gets messier from here. Let's talk about what's happening now with Diddy's legal battles and the shocking role his sons, Justin and Christian Combs, are reportedly playing in all of this. If you thought the daughters' rumored emancipation was dramatic, wait until you hear about the allegations surrounding Diddy's sons. These two have been dragged into the public eye with claims that they are not just standing by their father's side, but may be actively involved in some of the most explosive accusations yet. And trust us, this is the kind of revelation that makes you question everything you thought you knew about this family.
Those individuals allegedly included high-ranking supervisors in the business, personal assistants, security staff, and household staff.
Let's start with the court appearances. For months, Diddy has been fighting tooth and nail to secure bail, offering everything from private security to massive assets as collateral. But so far, nothing has worked. Why? Prosecutors argue that Diddy poses a danger to the community and can't be trusted to follow the rules. And honestly, the evidence they've presented is pretty wild. For starters, they claim Diddy has been using three-way calls from prison to contact people he's explicitly prohibited from speaking to. How? By convincing other inmates to let him use their phone accounts, like something straight out of a crime thriller. And it doesn't stop there. Allegedly, Diddy has also been using his family to pass along messages to potential witnesses, pressuring them to stay quiet or even change their stories. If true, this kind of behavior is exactly why the courts keep shutting down his bail requests, and why his legal troubles are only getting worse.
This is very significant, just from who we associate Diddy being and everything we've seen him do over the decades. Like you said, this is quite the downfall to go from, we saw the mansions back in March that were raided by the feds. So to go from living in those mansions to being in a jail cell right now, I think it really underscores the magnitude of what he's facing and the weight of the federal government.
But here's something that hasn't gotten as much attention. Prosecutors allege that Diddy isn't just using these calls to reach witnesses. He's also reportedly trying to influence public opinion from behind bars. Sources claim Diddy has been strategizing with his team to launch social media campaigns aimed at swaying potential jurors. Remember those highly polished birthday videos from his kids? Prosecutors argue they weren't spontaneous at all, but rather part of a carefully orchestrated PR strategy. Allegedly, Diddy even monitored audience engagement on these posts, tracking likes and comments to gauge public sentiment. And it gets even more bizarre. There are whispers that Diddy has been using code words, not just in phone calls, but in written correspondence as well. Insiders say investigators have flagged certain letters and emails where seemingly innocent phrases carry hidden meanings. For example, a casual mention of recycling might actually refer to destroying evidence, while talk of family gatherings could be code for secret strategy meetings. These claims are still under investigation. But if they hold up, they paint a picture of someone who's not just fighting for his freedom, but actively trying to outmaneuver the legal system at every turn. It's a high-stakes game, and so far, it doesn't seem to be paying off.
It's a question of that, but when you read through the indictment, it's pretty clear who could be indicted as a co-conspirator. Right now, there are people in the indictment who would be considered unnamed co-conspirators, but clearly have played a role in this conspiracy. And I think prosecutors have some big leverage on them because they're hoping that they testify against Diddy as prosecution witnesses.
Meanwhile, the sheer scale of the investigation is staggering. Authorities are reportedly combing through mountains of evidence, including financial records, text messages, and even security footage from Diddy's properties. They've also seized multiple electronic devices, which some believe could contain damning information. One source close to the case described the process as peeling back layers of an onion, with each new discovery leading to even more questions. Some of the evidence is said to be so sensitive that it's being reviewed in private, away from prying eyes. If true, this raises the stakes even higher and suggests that we might only be scratching the surface of what's really going on.
But there's also strategic reasons for the prosecutors to want him to have co-defendants, because right now he hasn't waived his right to a speedy trial, which would force prosecutors to take him to trial pretty quick, which they actually might not be ready to do. But if they supersede him and have co-defendants with him, it makes it a lot easier to pursue a trial continuance without him waiving his speedy trial right.
But here's where things get even more complicated. reports suggest that Diddy's sons, Justin and Christian, aren't just standing by him as supportive family members. They are allegedly helping him cover his tracks. A leaked phone call between Diddy and Justin has been making the rounds, and it's raising serious eyebrows. In the call, Diddy reportedly uses coded language, telling Justin to get rid of the leftover pizza boxes. Now, let's be real, no one thinks he's actually talking about pizza. Insiders claim this is a reference to disposing of evidence that could be damaging to his case. And according to those same sources, Justin and Christian have been actively working to clean up their father's mess, both literally and figuratively.
So it's just another form to silence a man, to humble a person. You know how sometimes you gotta humble somebody?
You're right.
Yeah, I think he's being humbled right now. Which it took a long time. It takes a long time to humble an arrogant person.
But why would they risk getting involved in something so messy? Some say it's about loyalty, while others believe it's because they were raised in an environment where this kind of behavior was normalized. Remember, Justin and Christian grew up surrounded by luxury and power, watching their father navigate the highs and lows of fame. If the allegations are true, it's possible they've been conditioned to believe that protecting the family name is more important than anything else. And honestly, that's just tragic. Speaking of tragic, let's talk about the lawsuits piling up against the Combs family. Diddy isn't the only one facing legal trouble. His sons are now being named in some of these cases as well. Take, for example, a lawsuit from producer Rodney Jones, who claims he was coerced into participating in some of the very activities Diddy is accused of orchestrating. According to Jones, Justin played a direct role in arranging these situations and was even involved in recruiting participants. If these allegations hold up, it paints a deeply disturbing picture of a family entrenched in a culture of exploitation, one that may go far beyond just Diddy himself.
It was all, insecurities. Anytime a man would go out his way to wiretap someone's phone or put taps in their homes just to monitor their conversation, that's a sign of insanity. So when you see someone doing that, you can imagine everything else they do.
Then there's Christian, who is facing his own set of accusations. One lawsuit alleges that he behaved inappropriately toward a woman during an event hosted by his father. The suit claims this wasn't an isolated incident, but part of a larger pattern, one that was enabled by the toxic environment Diddy allegedly created. Again, these are just allegations, but the fact that both sons are being named in lawsuits alongside their father is telling. It suggests that whatever is happening within this family isn't just about one person, it's systemic. Now, let's pivot back to Diddy himself, because his legal team has been working overtime to suppress evidence and control the narrative. One of their main arguments, that the search warrants used to raid Diddy's homes were unconstitutional. They claim authorities presented a distorted version of reality to obtain those warrants, leaving out key details and relying on questionable sources. Whether this argument will hold up in court remains to be seen, but one thing is clear, Diddy's team is pulling out all the stops to get this evidence thrown out.
Wait a minute, say that again, back up. You're saying that there's tapes and they're being shopped?
Yes, there have been people already shopping.
We've heard about the tapes, but
yes.
The shopping thing is
yes, there already have been tapes leaking around Hollywood, being shopped around to individuals in Hollywood. But one particular person contacted me to shop a particular video they were in possession of.
But here's the thing. Even if Diddy's legal team manages to suppress some of the evidence, the damage to his reputation is already done. The media coverage has been relentless, and public opinion is quickly turning against him. Honestly, it's hard to see how he comes back from this. Between the allegations of abuse, the suspicious circumstances surrounding Kim Porter's passing, and now the claims involving his sons, it feels like the walls are closing in. Even some of his most loyal fans are beginning to question whether they can continue to stand by him.
It sounds like there was probably a lot of hidden cameras as well. Is that what is being talked about?
Yes, this was actually in his Atlanta home, at a home he had in Atlanta at one point. And it does seem that the person isn't like looking into the video, so to me, doesn't seem like that person knows they're being videotaped. It doesn't seem like they're active participant in the videotape.
And what about the rest of Diddy's family? His mother, Janice Combs, has been noticeably absent from recent court appearances, a stark contrast to her earlier public displays of support. Insiders say she's devastated by everything that's unfolding, struggling to reconcile the son she knows with the disturbing allegations against him. As for Diddy's youngest daughter, Love, she's too young to fully grasp what's happening. But you have to wonder, how will all of this affect her as she grows older? Will she be haunted by the same rumors and allegations that have already cast a shadow over her older siblings? It's a heartbreaking thought.
I mean, that fact in of itself is a big deal, because when you're talking about going back in time and talking about these allegations from other alleged victims, you know, there's not a lot of police reports, but you guys actually have one. And is that going to be revealed? Are we going to be able to see it?
Yes, as soon as I file my lawsuit in civil court, I will be attaching the...
Then there's the question of Kim Porter's legacy. As more details emerge about her life and relationship with Diddy, her name has become a rallying cry for those seeking justice. Friends and family have started speaking out, calling for a renewed investigation into her passing and demanding accountability for anyone who may have been involved. Even Kim's ex, I'll Be Sure, has joined the movement, using his platform to raise awareness and push for answers. It's clear that Kim's story isn't over. Her memory remains a powerful force in this ongoing saga. So, where does that leave us? Honestly, it feels like a real-life soap opera unfolding in slow motion. Every day brings new revelations, new allegations, and more unanswered questions. Will Diddy's daughters follow through with their plans to emancipate? Will his sons face consequences for their alleged involvement? And what about Diddy himself? Can he clear his name, or is this the beginning of the end for one of the most iconic figures in the music industry? Only time will tell.